Hey guys, Pastor Kyle here. You have been nothing short of gracious and completely understanding during this whole COVID phase of life and of City Church by extension. And for the most part, you guys have expressed tremendous support for our approach, and you have continued to bless us with the gift of your trust. And so for that and for so much more, we just want to say thank you. You know, from the beginning of this pandemic, we decided to move to a 100% online ministry model for two primary reasons. And the first reason was community safety, and that being our community here and also the community at large. But the second reason that we went all online was for the witness of our congregation to our unbelieving neighbors. We just didn't feel like it would send the right message if we were gathering a bunch of people in spaces. And we've also done everything in our power to adhere to government guidelines. And we've been mostly online for 24 weeks now. And that is a long time. You know, we are all starved for one word: community. And for the past 6 months, community has looked different. It's looked like a lot more Zoom and FaceTime meetings for many of our core relationships. And hey, that's been better than nothing, we'd all agree, but we all know it's not the same as in-person community. It's a tough pill to swallow, but we all know that COVID is here for the foreseeable future. That being the case, I think it's time that we learn to live with COVID, to accept its risks, and to try to move forward as safely as we can. So some of you might be asking, so what about the reality of the virus? Well, my personal view on that hasn't changed. The virus is really serious, and we all need to do our part to slow the spread. At the same time, I know that even the most at-risk individuals in nursing homes have figured out how to have safe, physically distant, outdoor, and in-person time with their loved ones. Guys, it's time that we learn to do that here at City Church too. And as I mentioned previously, you know, things can change quickly with COVID, so maybe mark what I'm about to tell you in pencil rather than in pen. But here's what I want to tell you. City Church is planning to restart in-person outdoor services beginning Sunday, September 13th. Yep, you heard me say that right. And the plan is to start with 2 services at 9:09 a.m. and 11:11 a.m. And depending upon the interest, we might even have to add a third service option to keep the amount of people at any one gathering relatively small. So you might be asking, what can I expect if I choose to attend? Well, first off, a face mask fully covering the mouth and the nose will absolutely be required. No exceptions to that will be allowed. Temperature checks will be performed before entering at the door. Everyone will be required to complete an online registration in order to attend. And this is both to manage our seating here, but also for contact tracing purposes in the event of a transmission-related occurrence. We will do our best to hold a handful of seats open for walk-ins, but there are no guarantees to that. If you don't yet have it, this is a good opportunity to remind you to download the Church Center app either for Android or for iOS, and then to select City Church as your church. That app's going to make it really easy for you to register online. And if that is too tricky for you, you can always call our church line and register on the phone at 714-795-3945, and we'll get you dialed in that way. But in terms of what the actual service will feel like, it's safe to say that it will probably feel pretty hot, at least at first. And I'm not just talking about the fire of the Holy Spirit. I'm talking about the temperature, since we're going to be outdoors. Now, we're working to get a tent with some shade covering to help with that, and the service will also be much shorter than the type that you're probably used to attending in person, but it's still going to be pretty warm. I've been telling our staff to think of the service as a song and a sermon, so it's the kind of thing you won't want to be late to, or you're going to miss the worship. Now, with respect to all of you who have kiddos, because I have kiddos too, and I know that's a question some of you have. I just want to be crystal clear. There will not be children's ministry here at City Church for the foreseeable future. Kids who are old enough to sit calmly for 40 to 50 minutes, maybe coloring in the back or doing something on their own, are welcome to come and to attend. And we will provide a table or two with some activities to help with that. But if you have a little one that is just going to be impossible to contain and just won't sit quietly, it will be best for you and for everyone else in the church to swap services with your spouse or with another trusted person in your life and to leave your child at home. Some of you might ask the question, well, what can I expect if I choose not to attend in person? Well, frankly, I would most likely worship at home until a vaccine came out if I weren't the pastor. But I am the pastor, so I have to be here. So I completely understand anyone who might not want to come. And so for those of you who are in that category, I want to tell you we're 100% committed to continuing to provide a high-quality, pre-recorded, weekly, online church experience, just as you have experienced this whole pandemic. And we encourage at-risk individuals to participate online rather than in person. Finally, some of you might be wondering, why the change of heart now? I mean, we've been online for 6 months. Well, a couple different reasons why we're kind of changing notes here. First and foremost, because we love you, our church. And we know that some of you are just feeling spiritually starved, and we want to do our best to serve you. Secondly, it seems like outdoor gatherings are the safest option that we have right now. It's not 100% virus proof, but it seems to be the best option available. And to add to that, we held some limited outdoor in-person gatherings in June for over a month, and no one got the virus. So the short of it is, we think it's a very small risk to gather outdoors, and we think it's one that's absolutely worth taking because we love you. And we think it's time that we learn to figure out how to do church in a COVID-19 world. So I would say, buckle up your seatbelts and let's all pray to the Lord that nothing crazy happens with this virus in the next few weeks and that the trends of numbers and all that continue to go downward. Love you very much, and I look forward to seeing you guys in September of 2020. Bye, guys.